I cannot judge distance or anything in here.
We're really far from everything. Things are massive.
Crazy weird.
Yeah.
This is the first mission out in the wild after training locally around Wasilla with the team from Apex, Alaska. Today, Patrick is leading us in a 185 to land here.
But this is an absolutely high-threat lake with no margin for error.
That's what Apex is, you know, allowing weekend warrior to come to Alaska and experience this. Because let's face it, this is a terrible idea for a weekend warrior floatplane pilot.
Yeah.
You know, you have absolutely no outs, you have very few rescue options, and you're in a glacial lake. This just doesn't add up.
Now this is a far corridor, so he's doing all the radio work.
There are a ton of planes flying around in here, and they sometimes have in-air collisions, so let's not do that.
So we're being careful and doing this safely. When it comes to flying floats, there is no place like Alaska. After several days of training, today is the first real-world mission in the DH-22 Beaver.
Hey Clint, that's us 122.8. We're just warming up in the Beaver here.
Yeah, see you.
So what's your plan? You kind of following us to Christian Lake?
Yeah, I'll follow you up there and stop with you guys. When we leave, I'll just go to the lake and wait for you.
Okay, roger, thanks.
We're leaving Martin's Place with Clint.
Meadowlark's traffic got a Beaver departing Visual Lake northbound.
Here we go.
We shot nearly a dozen episodes of content, which I'm slowly adding to a playlist while we were up here working with the team from Apex, Alaska. We started with basic training in a PA-12, culminating in a left seat checkout in the Beaver. 2 entire episodes were dedicated to that process alone. So if you want a nerdy deep dive into the standard operating procedures of the Beaver, those are a must-watch before this one. We're not in the air long before reaching our first stop.
Nicely done. We pitch up, that's a power. Power. There we go, that's all we need. There we go, power back. There we go.
We're flying in to meet Patrick. He's going to lead us to one of Alaska's most famous spots, Denali. He's not only a highly experienced bush pilot,
How you doing, Patrick?
but he also runs a company called NFlightCam. Their highly versatile rigging gear made it possible for me to mount cameras all over the various airplanes that I flew here.
NFlightCam is a company I started 9 years ago now. I found myself bouncing all over the world, flying all these different airplanes, and always trying to have different gear to fit a camera on this airplane and then another airplane another day. So I try to make things universal. Our strut clamp fits anything from a J3 Cub to a Beaver or an Otter or a Caravan. So try to make things that you can put in your camera kit that you can use on almost any airplane.
NFlightCam is not paying for promotion, but Patrick was a huge part of this episode, so I'm excited that he teamed up with GoPro, also not paying, for this giveaway. And please note, this one was shot mid-2018, just before GoPro really started to dial in stabilization. So please forgive some of the shaky footage from the Beaver. This flight was a mismatched formation with 3 different types, so we did our best to brief it.
The mountain's amazing today, best day of the year. We get to the north side, at Kahiltna Pass we switch frequencies. I'll be doing all the radio calls, and we'll either go through South Hunter or One Shot. I haven't decided which one, I'll see when we get up there. Wickersham Wall goes from 3,000 feet to 20,000 feet in 2.5 miles. So 17,000 foot vertical relief, pretty awesome. We'll fly down the gorge. The gorge is about 2 miles long. You'll see it's pretty impressive. And then as soon as we come out of the gorge, on the right is Backside Lake, which is where we'll land.
There's a reason Martin wanted Patrick leading this trip.
When I came up here, I had 7,500 hours total. I had a lot of tailwheel time. I flew air shows for 8 years, but I didn't have any real bush flying experience. I knew that in order to do it right, I needed to come up here and get a job doing it and learn from guys that had done it their whole lives. So I came up and went to work for K2, got to fly with some of the most experienced pilots in the state. 30,000 hours is just getting started for some of those guys. And most of them have spent their entire lives up here. You don't need that amount of time to be able to fly up here. What you need is good training.
Training has been a major focus of this trip. My instructor Martin has a ton of float experience and formation flying from his time in the Air Force.
All clear?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Riding along with us is Courtney.
Test.
Oh, there we go.
She works with Patrick and knows this area well. With crazy terrain and mismatched airplanes, this is like no formation flight I've ever been a part of.
So let's go ahead and start a slow turn. Always peeking ahead under the wing so you don't go face to face with another airplane. We're not alone here today.
Patrick's right behind us and Clint's crossing right now.
Clint is an ATC pilot from Anchorage. He's been in some of the past episodes, and we'll see him again when we fly into Lake Hood in a future episode.
So we can get the water rotors up and get going?
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go?
Here we go.
Power set.
We'll take off out of here, and in the Beaver, we'll pretty much be in a climb with the flaps out the entire way. Our first altitude that we have to hit is South Hunter Pass, which is around 10,000 feet. And then from there, we have about 5 miles, so we need to be across Hilton Pass, which is 11,000, so we like to be at 12,000 to get across that. The topography changes when you go from the south to the north side, because the north side's in the rain shadow. So it looks like a desert on the north side.
And now we got another escape lake. Engine quits. We're gonna make that one.
There's a plane down below us off our right wing, just so you know.
Got him
I
inside.
got him. Thank you.
There's a lot of air tour traffic right now. Summertime, beautiful day. Each air taxi in Talkeetna has about 10 airplanes. All of them are up here. It gets very busy. There are very few of us weekend warriors out playing around in the mountains. Airspace is completely open to us, but having been an air taxi pilot, I know the frustrations when somebody shows up that doesn't really know where they are or what's going on. It kind of messes up the whole flow of the traffic, and there's a lot of traffic up here.
You guys go full power. Do your full climb cruise, whatever you want, and tell me what you need.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're doing about 95, 90, 500 foot from climb.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're number 2. I'm climbing away from you, just doing the best climb we can.
Yeah, you're number 2, but you're going to have to talk to me because I'm going to outrun you. So if you need me to pull some back, just say, give me, pull a little back, and I'll pull a little back.
Okay, so we're out climbing you now. We're above you, still behind you. I got sight on you, but if you want to get climbing a little better, you can go ahead and do that, and I'll try to stay with you.
Okay, do a loose formation up to the mountain, and then we'll form up for some photo work.
Roger.
Anytime you fly formation with two different airplanes, a Beaver made to climb, doesn't go very fast, and a 185. We didn't really know how they were going to perform. It was our first time doing it, our first time flying together. So there were a lot of threats there. We were trying to figure that out coming out of town. How do we make that work? And, we made sure we maintained safe separation the whole time, never felt uncomfortable. We did that until we got up here, and then, we figured out that in the mountains and trying to fly tight formation wasn't working. It's not the place to be figuring out the power settings, so no reason to push it beyond that.
He's the photo ship, we're doing our own thing, and he's going to maneuver around us. But Courtney, does that look about right? Is that the roof, the beginning of the roof back there?
Yeah, that's
okay.
where we're going.
Good.
Basically just a straight shot over. It usually takes about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more in the Beaver. Maybe quite a bit more in the Beaver.
Quite a bit more. Steve, are you up on 3030?
We're up, yep.
Okay, you see the tower down here on the highway? That's called Highway Camp. We need to fly over the top of it.
Okay, Roger, got it.
This river below us is the Tokositna River. Off to the right, the gravelly area over there, that's the toe of the Ruth Glacier. Straight ahead of us at 1 o'clock is the Dakota Mountain, and we're going to fly up the Canacula Glacier. If you guys get super high, we won't be able to see anything.
Okay, sorry, I thought we were climbing. Where do you want me? You want me to stop climbing?
Yeah, stop climbing.
Roger.
I'll form up on you, and then we'll switch position.
Roger.
And you're leveled off?
7100.
Okay. I need you to go right, too.
Right turn.
Go right where the weather's good. The big cloud up there is not a cloud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's rocks in that cloud.
Yeah.
And then,
Barely start seeing. You see it right behind that cloud, that little really white? That's not clouds,
Yeah.
that's fort.
basically straight ahead from us that you also can't see because the clouds is Hunter.
Okay, Steve, give me, pull back about 6 inches on your manifold pressure for me for a minute.
Roger.
Nice and slow to about 25.
Okay, we're going below the deck, correct? Patrick, you up? Not a good time to lose him.
No.
I don't have eyes on him.
I don't either.
Patrick, you up? How is it possible we just lost him? Clint, you up?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay, just not getting Patrick on comms, but we're going below the deck. You guys sight on Patrick? Because I do not.
Yeah, I'm about a half mile behind you. You're good.
In the heat of the moment, I'd forgotten that Patrick actually only had a single radio, and he was bouncing between our private frequency and the common area frequency to manage all the traffic out there.
Alright, Steve, you got me right?
I got you.
Okay, I want you to stay on my 45-degree position. If you can't stay there, let me know and I'll adjust so that you can.
Okay, you push it up a little bit, Patrick. A little bit right. There we go. That's how we get distance when we don't want to overtake him, so go right a little bit. There you go. I was going to use power to do it. That's the way we do it, no? No, you're high altitude here, so you want to use angle and try to keep your power up.
We got some pretty awesome footage out here. I'm not this bad at station keeping. Patrick was actually directing me to come in tight and fall back and forward and so on, just to change position for Warwick, who was operating a handheld camera on board the 185. As for set it and forget it mounting options, we got a bunch of sponsors together for this really awesome giveaway package.
Now this is a FR corridor, so he's doing all the radio work.
There are a ton of planes flying around in here, and they sometimes have in-air collisions, so let's not do that.
Bring the power back.
I just feel like this thing you're going to stop real quick, right?
And what you do is you feel to the right. See what I'm saying? This way you get distance to stay behind. That's a trick in formation.
Right.
And you can slowly add power so we don't have massive power changes. Steve, I think we have too many clouds to go to the north side of the mountain. So we're going to stay here on the south side of the mountain. I'm going to climb up here a little bit more. And then we're going to go through a pass called 747 Pass up here into the Sheldon Amphitheater, and then we'll be back on the lake.
Okay, we'll stay with you.
Okay.
What's our target altitude now?
Well, I'm trying to dodge some clouds here. I don't have a real target altitude.
Okay. Okay, we'll just stay with you.
That'll work best.
Yeah, I'm cool to tuck in a bit more because I have a hard time judging if I'm not closer. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, just go ahead and keep climbing. So we're going to need a power. Might as well feed it in all the way, and we're not going to overboost anything.
We're losing you a little bit. We're firewalled.
Okay, I'm pulling back a little bit.
So what's the plan here? We're obviously not going too much further.
No, we're going to go 747 Pass, which I'm thinking is a 1230. Is that correct? I'm going to make a left-hand 270-degree turn here, Steve, and this is the South Hunter Ice Falls. Try and get that as the background for you, and then we'll come back around and go through 747.
Okay, so I'm following you through that turn?
Yeah, follow me through this turn.
Roger. There's his wake?
Yeah.
Just a bit. How's your depth perception now?
That's what I was going to say. This is crazy for judging depth perception, yeah.
You know, I've been in these mountains, I've probably done 1,000 flights in them. So the first summer I was up here flying, you get a comfort level and you get to where you know where the mountain is and you know what each rock on the mountain, where you are. I mean, this is a beautiful day, but there are days when we're flying around up here in the bad weather, and to know where you are and do it safely, you need to know what that rock is and where that rock is. So once you get that level of comfort, then it starts becoming second nature.
I cannot judge distance or anything in here.
We're really far from everything. Things are massive.
Crazy weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird, don't worry. It's no, don't have to excuse this. 99% of people wouldn't be able to do what you're doing right now, so.
We used to have tourists on the flight seeing planes start screaming because they thought the wing was about to hit the mountain. And we're like, the mountain's 2 miles away. They're like, no, it's like 2 inches. We're like, yeah, no, it's 2 miles.
It's massive. See, we need to climb a little bit here. So you see that pass he's going through, so the good news is he's going to make it through. We're good to follow him. Okay, start your turn a little bit. And just lag him. Him in the inside turn. Nicely done.
What would suck is if there was traffic coming through this cloud right now.
There's a lot of things that would suck, and that would be definitely one of them.
Not be going through that cloud.
Yeah. Okay, roll out your turn just a bit, so we stay in the trail. So he didn't like that ridge crossing as far as where he was in altitude. Yeah. So he's reloading the gun by doing a left 270 and getting more altitude. Always have a B plan in the mountains, and his B plan was, hey, left 270. All right, where are you guys located now?
8 o'clock, about a mile behind.
Okay, I'm going to pull it back. If you can catch up, I'd like to get a shot of you in front of this mountain off to the right.
Okay, you might have pulled back a fair bit.
Okay, I'm pulling it back a lot. Ask him if he could do a right 90, follow by left 90, or just so we could close up a little bit.
Can you do a right 90 followed by an immediate left 90?
I don't want to do that with the mountains there. So just follow me here. This shot's not going to work out real well.
Okay.
Okay.
On your right.
Roger. We're going to go ahead and get on the water. Over here to the left is the lake we're going to. There is a ton of traffic out here today, and I'm not comfortable running a formation through the amphitheater. So we'll land on the water. We can get some good shots of the airplanes on the water, and we won't be fighting. There's probably 20 airplanes in the area up here.
Roger. So here's a bomb, Steve. Anytime you do formation flying with vastly different type of aircraft, it's a performance here. There you go. Good discipline. If you have a question, you ask. And the same rule applies, the primary rule of any formation with anybody is just don't hit them.
The lake we'll be landing on down here. We land towards the glacier. We'll come in over the river here, and then you can see the islands land kind of on the north side there. You'll see the islands. And Steve, no offense to your float flying capabilities, but this is an absolutely high threat lake with no margin for error. So I'd really prefer a Martin.
Affirmative. Martin will do it.
Awesome. Thanks. It's a glacial lake with absolutely no mistakes possible.
The landing here, there's no room for error. So we're on a glacial lake. This lake was frozen a week ago. It's not a great place for training because of that.
If you guys want to follow me in, that's probably the best thing so you can see me land. So maybe orbit overhead while I land and then come in and land behind me.
Affirmative.
All right, I'm breaking off to the left for a landing.
Hey, we're going to get 1001, 1002, 1003, break off. Always keep them in sight. Lean over. Perfect. So now we got a good 3.5 second trail. Courtney's looking down on the lake, see if she see Titanic icebergs.
Nope, looks clear.
We're switching to center tank. Oh, center tank, switching.
So just below me here, guys, there's a really neat spot where the water just falls off into the glacier.
I've lost him. Where?
He's at 11 o'clock level. I'm following him.
This glacier rover right now is 3 miles wide at that bend right behind us.
Wow.
Give you some
the scale is impossible.
I know, right?
Now you know when somebody goes down, they go, I can't understand why they didn't find him.
The whole root canal complex is right in front of us.
All right, Steve, you guys still up with me? You got me in sight?
Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna watch
I
him.
just come in low over this moraine here, and then set it down on the lake, and then you'll see where it parked.
As far as being a challenging lake, I wouldn't rate it into the challenging category.
It's a little difficult. There's some giant rocks on a short final, and there's no...
True, yeah, it is. I guess it is a little more, and it's a high altitude lake.
Okay, number 2's on the break. I'll get you on final, or you want to take it? No, not yet. Just you're doing good. Clint's next. He's on final.
Patrick tucked down just to beam of that island.
Got it. Okay, I have the aircraft. Got it. Comps, we got to fuel. The water rudders are up. It's going to be a low flap landing, right? Because we want maneuvering. More flaps, please.
Yeah, we got
a couple more push. One more. All good. Just coming over now. Okay, raise my flaps if you don't mind. I'm not on the common frequency. I don't know who's behind us, so I'm trying to keep it on the step. So short of being a challenging approach, what was hard about that? The density, altitude, delay? The airplane just doesn't behave the same way, so you don't want to have too much flaps until too late. You see where we're at? We're not turning that terrain. Seat belts off right now. Auto rudders down. Open up the doors so we can get out in a hurry if we have to get in a hurry. When we used to fly fighters in this type of weather, yeah, this what could mess you up. But at least you're going fast. The good news is you recognize it and you see how challenging it is. You never lost sight of him. I can guarantee you. The list is very small. That was the only thing that was the most important. Not lose sight. If you don't lose sight, you're not going to hit him. Everything else is fixable through good comp. A lot of people would say, well, this wasn't briefed properly. It's so dynamic, you could not brief it. We briefed the important parts. Sometimes you got to deal with what's it. But the number one formation rule is when you who was number one and who was number two, when that changed, it changed. And we didn't hit him and we didn't lose. This is pretty spectacular. Oh, yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed that one, and again, there's a lot of content already published and more coming. Thanks to sponsors and Patreon supporters for helping us create this content. And definitely check out flightjobs.com/contest for that giveaway. There's a lot of really awesome stuff and somebody's gonna win it. And until next time, keep your flight chops sharp.
How about that for some crazy scale? Holy crap.
Your moment of sadness.
No, it's all good.
It's impossible to tell how close the mountains were.